Welcome, everyone. It's fantastic to have you all here. And I'm actually really, really impressed because we've only gone 2/3 up, even though there's about 100 of us up there. Students would tend to hide at the back and try and hide right at the top of the lecture theatre. Although I can see Mick in the corner there. You're hiding away nicely over there as well, so that's great. So in future, just let's gather in. Don't need to change now, but as we go forward, come in and gather around and let's enjoy this space we've got. But it's brilliant to see you all here. I know some of you come from quite a long distance across the world, near and far. But it's really, really wonderful to see you here for this lovely gathering that we've got. It's a great inclusive space. It's a wonderful set of people. I know probably about 2/3 of you, I think. Maybe a bit more of you know me and I've forgotten, I don't know. But we're all friends here and that's the most important part. And enjoy the conversations while we're here. I'm just going to give a very, very brief overview as a welcome. As you will have picked up, the conference has got 3 key themes, really. Organising for transformation. We don't like the word governance because that implies certain things, but how do we get together to be working together to support and navigate the transformations that we're engaged with? A part of that is the importance of evaluation, rethinking how we think about engaging and thinking about how we drive transformation through evaluations, and then that big field of inner transformations. What does that mean? Well, I'm hoping you will be able to tell us that too. So that's really the key themes that are loosely holding us together. But one of the important things about this conference is we've got quite a strong flavour of food in this as well as transformation. That's partly because of the research program that is supporting this, which is called Fix Our Food. And it's been going on for 4 years. It's not far off the end. But the goal of that program is to develop the knowledge about how to transform the region's, Yorkshire's food system. So that's the really key element of that. And so that's we've got a flavour of food in this too. So we're mixing this field of transformation. How do we make big, deep change happen fast? With also the aspects of food systems as case studies too, and you'll hear much more about these themes tomorrow, and then of course in the things that we're dealing with. But an important question: why York? Why bring you all this way to come to the city of York? Well, York has been experienced many transformations pretty much over a couple of millennia. The Romans arrived in AD 71. Even Constantine the Great was proclaimed emperor by his troops here. There were quite a lot of troops here, but York was a very important city for the Romans. The Anglo-Saxons then came, then the Vikings turned up. This was a big Viking city, and you can see the outcomes. If you ever get the chance to go to the Jorvik Museum, I love it. It's kind of a bit corny, but it's a great, fun little museum to get to, and you can see the outcomes of a major transformation that happened hundreds of years ago. And the outcome of that was the largest fossilized human poo in the museum that you can see afterwards if you can find it. And that was from a Viking. And I think we've got at least one Viking here somewhere in the audience. So anyway, and then of course came the Normans, and they built on the castle, on the walls. And York was also a really important place for chocolate. In the 19th century, the industrialists came in, and it became a centre for chocolate production. Rowntree's, Terry's, Nestle were all part of that process. But the important thing in there was that many of the chocolatier industrialists were also the big, in 19th century, philanthropists. So they put lots of effort into building appropriate housing for their workers. And Joseph Rowntree, very well known the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, very well known in York now as a sort of policy framing, research orientating and change orientating organisation that still supports policy development around issues around poverty and housing and things like that as well, and environment. So a really, really important element in there as well. University of York, founded in 1963, it was what we call the glass plate universities, as opposed to the ancient universities, the red brick universities in the 9th century, and then you had the glass plate universities. You can see the outcome of that if you look across the lake, that big image that we've got at the front. We're well known for many things. Lots of fantastic research that comes out of York, but perhaps we're best known for this guy called Longboy, who was a duck of epic proportions. He was around between 2018 and 2023. After 2023, unfortunately, disappeared, presumed dead, carked it somewhere in the campus, probably eaten by a fox or something. But he was super friendly, but he has this massive long neck, and that became a social media sensation around the world, and the university is now known as the Duck University. And somebody posted this, I found this: if you put a trench coat on that duck, he would look like two ducks trying to get into an R-rated movie, right? So you can imagine this sort of social media thing that came out from that. So do have a look out for the long Boyology art trail. You'll find little duck things around the campus as well as you have a look around. So do have a look for that. We're known, as I said, well known for many things that I'm not going to go into too much detail here. So really that's just a welcome to York and a sort of just a quick overview of why we're situated here. If you don't know me, I'm Ioan Fazey, and I'm based at the Department of Environment and Geography. So you'll see that it's got a nice big green wall on the building. If you happen to pass that, you can tell you're at the Environment Building because it's got a massive sign saying Environment. So that's on the other side near where we're going to go this afternoon. And we've got quite a lot of staff and students, PhD students, and some great volunteers working with us today. So I'm just going to do a quick introduction with a few people that are going to be really important for you today. So first, Rebecca, would you like to stand up? Rebecca is the co-convener of the conference. To be fair, Rebecca's done most of the work, so thank you, Rebecca. That's been a major job. And we've also got, importantly, we've got Belinda, we've got Sophie. Do you want to give us a wave if you're around? Sophie's outside helping us that. Jane is out there somewhere as well. She comes from the Yesi Institute, which is a cross University institute. Belinda and Sophie come from the Fix Our Food project. We've got, who else have we got that's important? Yeah, we've got Dec, who's kind of leading the volunteers. Do you want to give us a wave, Dec? And then have we got any volunteers in here? Hands up, they're helping, maybe they're outside. Oh, yeah, we have a few volunteers, yeah, various people around, so you can do that. We've got Eden, who is, we'll talk a little bit about photography in a minute, but Eden's going to do some photography with Chino. Chino's leading that, and some of you might get little interviews, so if you want an interview, come to Chino, and we'll pick your brains around that. He's got some great questions set up for that as well. So just a set of introductions. Belinda, have I missed anything or anybody important that I've missed around the introductions? No, that's okay. So, but most importantly, grab somebody, grab help. Oh, Julie, that was the other one. Julie is here. That's really important because Julie set up, she's a coach in all sorts of wonderful guises, and there are some sign-up slots for free coaching. They're full already, sorry. Right, so high demand, you pick that up. But also in the other times, you might want to have a chat with Julie about what she's doing and her background as well. So that's really, really important too. I'm trying to think if I've missed anybody. I don't think I have. So we'll go on from there. Before I hand over to Belinda to go on some of the logistics, I'm just going to highlight that after this plenary, you're going to go straight to the first set of Spark Talks. And timing is really key. The world is burning, so we have to be on time in this conference. These are if you haven't looked at the program, then you want to choose one of these and go to the right room. And then those are the chairs that will do that. So obviously, if you're presenting, and one of those need to be that as well. So yeah, do make a quick route over at the end of the plenary before you go into that. Is there anything else I need to say about that? No? Okay, that's fine. So we've got those Spark Talks set up, and then we've got a break, and you can relax after that as well. Okay, I'm now going to hand over to Belinda, who's going to go through just briefly some of the logistics. After that, I'll be introducing Bruce from the Transformations community, who's going to give us a bit of an overview of the Transformations community and transformations in general. This is a collaboration, very much so with the Transformations community. And then we're going to go into an opening ceremony by Two Birds Cunningham. So and that'll be the end of the plenary, giving you some time to get over to the Spark Talks. So over to you, Belinda.
Morning, everybody. I've got the boring bit, which is just lots of announcements of stuff that you'll forget straight away. So when you've forgotten, just ask someone at reception. But I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, so no fire alarm test due in the building today. So if the fire alarm sounds, please leave by the nearest exit. The muster point is the walkway just outside the back of the building here. So if you're at this end of the building and the alarm goes off, go out that way. Otherwise, go out by the nearest exit and make your way round to that walkway. There are plenty home team who will help you. The home team mostly either have a rainbow lanyard or a yellow lanyard. They should, in theory, know what's going on. If not, they'll know someone who does. If you've got any luggage or any valuables you want locking away, we've designated 007 just at the top of the stairs here, and we'll be locking it when all the sessions are happening. So please do put anything valuable in there and it will be locked away. Coats, there's coat rack out there as well if you want to use that. Those who've had a bit of time to wander around will have seen it's a really nice building, lots of space. So if you need some quiet time, if you want to have a little chat with somebody, just go and find a space. There's some seating upstairs on the first floor, but there's other spaces around here. Or go and have a wander around campus. It's a very nice campus. Please do go and wander around there as well. All the refreshments will be served where the coffee was this morning. If you've got any dietary requirements, just make yourself known to a member of staff, please, and they will help you. If you come in late, we'd be grateful if you'd use the back entrance to the lecture theatre for in plenary. You access that from the first floor. There is a water fountain just out here in the foyer if you need that. There are all gender welcome toilets on this floor and accessible toilets. Upstairs there are gents toilets towards the back of the building that way, and at this end there are ladies toilets as well. Okay, take a look at your badge. You may or may not have looked at it already. So we'll try and explain it if you haven't noticed it. So it's meant to work, so when you flip it that way, it works for you, which is why it's upside down for everybody else, except your name, which shouldn't be. Hopefully it isn't. You've got day one, and on the back you've got a map which just meant to orientate you a little bit. This evening there'll be a drinks reception in Roger Kirk building. There'll be staff to help you get across there, but if you get separated, you've got a little map here to help you. If you take day one out, turn it round, you'll find day two, and then after day two, you throw that one away, recycle it, and then you'll have day three on the back of your map. That's the theory. Hopefully, it'll help you get to where you want to be when you need to be there. For the food system session tomorrow, you'll find, when you do turn it round to tomorrow, you'll see that there's a couple of little arrows against the sessions, because for those sessions, you don't have free choice. You have been allocated a session. For the other sessions, you have free choice. Photography. Okay, so Eden and Chino are going to be doing some videoing. They may ask you to take part in an interview, as Ioan said. If you do not want to be in any of the videos and or any photographs that are taken, we'll have stills photography here for some of the time. Please make yourself known to that person and they will make sure you're not captured. There have been quite a few last-minute changes to the programme, so a bit of details added in, so please access that via the TCX website, where you'll also be able to see all the sessions, all the details in there. And finally, just come and ask at reception if you need anything. We will do our best to help you, and have a great conference.
Great, thank you, Belinda. That's wonderful. As Belinda says, we're here to help. There's plenty of help around. If you get lost, well, come and find us. But if you're lost, I don't know how that works. But anyway, we'll work on that one. I'm now going to introduce Bruce Goldstein, who's come all the way from Boulder, Colorado. Bruce has been a phenomenal player in this transformational field in creating a whole organization around the work that we did. It's the transformations work started in 2013 with a conference led by Karen O'Brien, who's here somewhere, and we then carried on going. But Bruce really picked this up a few years ago and has turned it into an actual professional organization that's supporting gatherings and supporting conferences and supporting meetings and many, many other things. So it's an absolute warm welcome to you, Bruce. Thank you so much, and I'm going to hand this over to you so that you can tell us a little bit about transformations and TC. Thanks. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, this mic on? Yeah, great. Wow, I didn't know all these things about York. Chocolate, long-necked ducks, emperors being crowned. It's just all this swirl of images are going through my head right now, especially the chocolate. We're going to have to visit that one later. So yeah, first up, I just want to welcome you all to this TCX. This X is designated experimental, in-depth. It's conversational. It's not a conventional conference. And thank you. Got to hit that button. There you go. Yeah, we first of all, Ioan, wow, been my partner for this for so long in the transformations community, developing it, conceptualizing it, realizing it. This is the second conference he's sponsored in the transformations community, so a true sucker for punishment. And thanks, Rebecca, for organizing this great conference. And Thomas, where are you? Thomas is my right-hand man, the manager of so many things and strategic partner in the transformations community. And my wife, Vicki, is here as well. my greatest ally and a marine conservationist. So if anyone has interest in things marine, she is an expert in all things marine. So, wow, it's a group effort, really. And so this moment that we're in right now, this moment is a moment of crisis. I mean, in the United States, it's just a series of disasters. Science, democracy, things we thought were solid and beyond question are in threat. And here in Britain, we see the institutions, the universities being threatened, their funding undermined, their capacities being undermined. So what do we do in this time of crisis? Do we tighten up? We need to find solutions. We need to we need to defend the things that we have. In the transformations community, crisis also has the potential of being an opening, a threshold, a possibility, a new set of possibilities. And that's what, while we recognize this crisis is not the crisis we wanted in a transition, it's still an opportunity. And so we think this is actually an opportunity for us to gather our energies in the community. But we don't have one idea, one theory of change in the transformations community. We are very open to very many different kinds of knowledge making, many different ways of thinking about what change means. And so when we come together, we explore what's possible, we slow down. I'll slow down. We embrace complexity. We hold space for things that aren't clear, and we sit in that uncertainty and engage in creativity, that reflective moment that might lead to that moment of action. And so that's what I love about TC, Transformations Community Events, is that this idea of purpose and possibility all coming together with a community that's really engaged around action, around making change. So where have we been? Ioan mentioned that we have a history. We go back to 2013 when Karen O'Brien originated our community. Where is she? She's up there, there. With her, the conference she organized in Oslo. And I believe we're still expressing Karen's original vision of this community. It's not a conventional academic community or a discipline. We come together across many different practices, different disciplines, different professions, activists, artists. And the idea is to share possibilities for many different visions of sustainability transformation. So it's deliberately not an academic community with that kind of presentational mode, giving you the results to test a hypothesis. We're much more open. So we've been, over the years, we've gone to, as you can see, Stockholm and Dundee, and we were in Santiago. We were online during, we should have been in Barcelona, but we were online during COVID. And then we went in 2023, we went to Prague and Sydney. So we've had conferences in all these places. This year, after this conference, we're going to Johannesburg. We're having a large event there, which we're partnering with the Earth Systems Governance Network. And throughout all this succession of conferences, I think as a community, we've had this deepened sense that we're not just interested in technological or institutional transformations. We're interested in bang, bang. Emphasis. We're interested in relational change, lived and embodied forms of transformative change. So the inner and the outer. And so we're about experimenting not only with change in the world, but with change in ourselves. And I think we have a ever-increasing sense of who we are as a community, a kind of strange attractor of people who are eclectic in one sense, but also unified around this common theme of seeking change in themselves and in the world around towards sustainability. So just to go into that a little bit more, who are we? Who are you? Who do I see when I look out there? I see researchers, I see artists, I see organizers, I see activists. And many of us cross boundaries. We don't share one identity. We are interested in not only science, but also practice. We care about policy and place. We're organized around activism, but also reflection. So we occupy the liminal spaces, and we're boundary crossers and boundary spanners. We like to use the term pracademic sometimes to describe who we are as a community, that we value rigor, but also humility around knowledge, the limits of knowledge and the limits of specifically different forms of knowledge, how we need to draw on different forms of knowledge. We are interested in creating durable structures, but we're also fostering emergence. We're all about strategy, but also soul. And so that idea is we're held together by relationships. We, as opposed to a discipline, we show up in complexity. And I think I already sense that spirit here. I love this community because it's a place where I can show up in my whole self, with the messy bits as well as the sort of clean bits that might show on a resume. It's sort of it's a place I've always found that where all the dimensions of myself can be expressed. And I find the community ideally can provide support for each other, more than just tools and methods, but also relationships. How do you stay in the trouble? How do we maintain hope despite all the challenges we face? How do we move forward toward long-term change? So this gathering, it's the TCX, I think, is more than a conference. It's more like a field station. It's we learned in Prague when we did the first one of these that it's not about summarizing, concluding, reaching firm outcomes. It's more about slowing down, sensing across difference, understanding beyond we like to use the term transformative learning. Looking for disruptive moments when we can move beyond the boundaries of our understanding and our identity. So what we're hoping to do here is to ask you, we will ask you in our final session to reflect on the vibe that you've picked up on here and think about the things that you do and how the community can support you in your work, in your practice, in your growth. And we're going to ask you to feed back to us, how can we do that better? How can we do that in different ways? So we're going to have a whole session where we're going to ask you to give us feedback on how we can serve you better as a community. And then we're going to dive deep after the conference is over and come up with a kind of a new strategic plan that we're going to implement. So we want to use this as sort of a big, brainstorming session, focus group around the possibilities for the community. We're calling this new initiative that we're doing beyond conferences and newsletters and workshops, the Agora, and the core question that we're focused on so far is, what kind of community can keep us connected and supported and curious in the long arc of transformation's work? So please reflect on that and give us ideas about how we can do this better. So that's all I got. So thanks for being here. In the next few days, we don't expect answers, more good company and insight and space to return and to reflect on what matters. So I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for coming here, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Great, thank you, Bruce, for that great explanation. Every time I hear you give that narrative, it sort of enriches and goes further, and it's really, really nice to hear. So it gives you a bit of a sense of what we think we're about, but really it's also up to you to create that and be part of that sense of what the community means to you and what the organisation means. So thank you, Bruce. I'm now going to introduce Two Birds Cunningham, and this is really special for me because to me, Two Birds epitomises somebody who lives and breathes a sense of what I would call earth-based wisdom. She has worked for many decades, probably 30 years teaching, training people how to engage really deeply with nature and nature's intelligence, and how we can get out of our minds and into a much wider sense of being, and what it means to be and walk in the world in a very, very different way, often in line with our ancestors, but also in very contemporary ways as well. So she's done a huge amount of work to create communities that can learn how to live and work differently and relate to each other differently and in many, many ways. So I've asked Two Birds to come to this meeting, and she's going to be here for the whole of the 3 days, so you'll have plenty of opportunity to talk to her, but really to set the scene in a thread through this conference. A thread of what I see as a transition. We come into a space like this with lots of things, perhaps good things, shadow things, light things, some things we might prefer to sort of let drop a little bit, and some things we might to bring forward. So we're coming as at the beginning of something, as a certain set of people. And then we're going to go through this process over the next 3 days, lots of inspiring conversations, lots of new ideas, lots of thoughts, lots of new relations. So you can see it almost as a transition in its own right, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and then from the end, something that then we move forward to a new beginning. So Two Birds is going to do something with us each day, an opening and a beginning ceremony, and tomorrow afternoon you'll be coming in to help us in that transitionary space, and then towards to help us come to the end so that we can then move forward as well. So it's with great pleasure to be introducing Two Birds, who's going to give us the opening ceremony, and I'll hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ioan. Thank you, everyone. So as Ioan already introduced, so my role here with you is what Bruce actually said so beautifully already, those moments where we need to slow down. And that is very much how I see my place. It's like pressing the pause button for a little bit, slowing down and then going more into reflective inward space. So I see my place very much, as Ioan said, I'll be here now and then tomorrow, just for a little while at the very end, and the day after again at the very end. So dropping these little jewels and taking you more within. So what I want to do with you this morning is, first of all, going into self-connecting. So really self-connecting. I'll guide you through that. Then connecting with us as a community, as a family. We're all coming from different walks of life. And we're all coming here for one purpose, and that is for this conference. So we're going to connect briefly as a group, and then also connecting with Mother Earth, with the ancestors, and then moving into reflection, what motivated you to come here. So we're simply going within. So I'm not going to talk any longer than that. So I will just simply guide you through that. And then if we could dim the light over there, perhaps we'll get the brightness out of the room a little bit as well. So to start off with, I would like you to go within and simply to begin to self-connect, connecting with your heart, connecting with your mind, with your body, with your soul. All of it gets to be here, all of who you are and what you are at this particular point in time. So simply to be self-connect, to be in the moment, letting go of what was before, letting go of what is to come, simply being present here. And then from that presence, that self-connection, I would like you now to begin to expand your awareness out towards all the other companions that are sitting here in this room. So beginning to tap into the energy of the collective here. This container of potential, a container of knowledge, a container of power. So feeling into the presences of each and every one who has gathered here in this space for this conference. And so this will be that container of potential that we will be all thriving in over these days to come, that we'll be feed of, that we'll be nurtured by, that we will nurture and feed into. So already opening our hearts to this opportunity of sharing knowledge, of conversation, of engaging, of being with each other, creating this community here over these next 3 days. So remaining self-connected and yet also connecting with everybody here in this space. And then from there, I would like you to bring your attention towards your feet and right into the ground, connecting with Mother Earth. She who provides the sacred land that we walk upon, she who gives birth 1,000,000-fold every single moment of every single day, she who is the creator of all that has ever been on this planet. So may we honor her and may we hear her whispers, may we hear her voice, so she can guide us over these next few days to come. And then may we also bring into our awareness the ancestors, those who have walked this land before us for thousands of generations, as they have gone through transformation and change over and over again, and how much transformation and change they have observed. So may we also open our hearts so we may hear their voices and their songs over these next 3 days. So as we want to remain in that self-connected, sacred space, connected with the others, with the earth, and with our ancestors, it is now time to drop into reflection. If you haven't closed your eyes yet, you may want to close your eyes for this now, as I would like you to drop deeply within. And what I would like you to focus on is to look into the motivations that brought you here to this conference. Why are you here? What was the calling that brought you here? So it may be the wish to be of service, the desire to become a conscious, active agent at this time of change and transformation. So bringing that into your heart and into your awareness, what brought you here? And feeling that, seeing that, sensing that. So allow this to become come and experience in your entire body what brought you here. And so holding these motivations in your heart, what brought you here, I would like you now to move into some dreaming as we bring the future generations into our awareness, those who are not born yet, those to come. So what is the future that we wish to collectively co-create at this time for those to come? So once the drumming changes into a more regular beat, I want to invite you to deeply drop into this dream time. What you would want to see for the future generations, which are the tracks that we want to lay for them that they can follow to perhaps live a more sustainable way of life, a more harmonious and peaceful way of life. So spending a few minutes moving into this visioning and dreaming time. As you're holding these dreams and these visions and your motivations, I would like you now to envision us here in the space to sit in a cocoon, like a half ball. We're all inside this cocoon. And I want you to feed these dreams and these visions into this cocoon and filling the space of this cocoon with these dreams and visions for the future generations. And also sensing and seeing the dreams of everybody in here filling this container. And then from there we want to allow this container to expand out beyond the walls of this room, to expand further out beyond the walls of this building, spreading out over the entire campus, spreading out over all of York, spreading out over Yorkshire, over all of England, Scotland, Ireland, the UK, spreading out further over all of Europe, over the great waters, the other continents, until eventually it holds this entire Mother Earth. So we are feeding the earth and all her beings with these dreams and these visions. And then from there, briefly coming back to yourself. So from expanding out, coming back to yourself, and seeing those visions and dreams and those motivations that brought you here, see them sitting as a jewel in your chest and in your heart. And allow this jewel to be present with you for this day, as we will venture out to explore, to learn, to communicate, and to dive deeply in all that awaits us on this day. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes, and we can have the light back on. Thank you.
Great, I need say no more. It is now time to move on to the first sessions, to begin the conversation and to take forward all of those dreams that you've just been creating together. So these are the sessions that are up there as a reminder. Go and join in the conversations, and we'll see you at the coffee. Great, thank you. Well done.